today, DeMarcus Lawrence had some things to say about, your offense and Jalen Hurts and how they haven't played you yet. Do you do any bulletin board material? Do you use any of that leading into a game like this?
Yeah, I'm not really into bulletin board material, to be quite honest with you, because our greatest motivation is to play for each other. And this team loves each other, right? This is what is making this team a special team, is that they're in it for each other and they're in it to, not let each other down, to play for each other. And that's why we're in it as coaches, right? To put our guys in positions to help them play great. And that's the motivation we need, is just, hey, for each other. Like, I don't want to let Jalen down. I don't want to let Fletch down. I don't want to let, right? And then that's a contagious thing, right? Or when all the guys want to play for each other and not let that, and that's when it's a special thing. And hey, DeMarcus Lawrence is a great football player, and we're going to have to be ready for where he is, no matter where he is on the field. So we know how good of a football player he is, and how good of a defense this is, for that matter. So, but we're playing for each other, and that's our greatest motivation.
Well, what Tony Dungy said, you guys have spoken a few times, and he said you spoke about fourth downs, game management, protecting leads. What was the, impetus of those conversations, and why those topics in particular?
Well, Coach Dungy, first of all, if any chance I can talk to a Coach Dungy or Coach Wright or anybody like, Coach Karras again, right? Anybody I can talk to that has, Bill Parcells had an article that came out the other day, and I want to call Todd Haley, who was, he was Todd's mentor, and I want to get Bill's number to talk to him. So, right, because I'm obsessed with just how I get better, right? And if I want the team to be obsessed with how they get better, I need to be obsessed with how I get better, and I'm going to continue to live that way for 41 years of my life, and I'm going to continue to live that way. But I'll keep Coach Dungy and I a conversation private, just because he was I was asking him about a couple different things. Now, one thing I can tell you is that his record when he went up 14 points in a game, I don't know if you guys saw this, when Coach Dungy was up 14 points in a game, at any point in the game, his career record at Indy and at Tampa Bay was 80-1. Like, well, can I find out what's going on here, right? And so I'll talk to anybody, and that's a huge thing that Coach Dungy would take my call. There's a media guy in Indianapolis that helped me out in getting in touch with him. So I'm thankful to him. But any advice I can take from somebody like that is really good advice. There was a swimming team where I was in Carmel, Indiana. And it was Carmel High School. They had won like 35 state championships in a row, like boys, 35. It was something insane like that. And then you guys can check my math on that. But right before, I was really set on talking to him, right, and finding out what his secret was too. But then COVID hit, and we weren't able to get together on that. But I'm looking for any way I can get better at all times.
You've had a few 14-0 leads this season that maybe you haven't executed after that. What have you found to be the biggest reason why, or at least especially this past Sunday?
14-point leads that we blew.
Well, you didn't. I mean, this is the only one that you got caught. But the other ones, I guess you felt like in the second half. Maybe.
Yeah. Again, those are things that I think that competitive advantage to give any of that out, and as far as, but we're constantly working on, like, that's why I'm calling Coach Dungy. What's his secret, right? And studying different things like that. So, I definitely feel like we've made strides now. Did that reflect that? We were up 14-0 in the last game, and we won by 3. Did it reflect it in the last game? No, but not every game's going to play out the same. So, again, just working to make sure that we protect our 14-point leads when we get them.
What was the messaging to the team this week, Nick?
I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that one in house this week, just of what we talked about, sometimes it's appropriate to share my opinion. Sometimes it's appropriate to share with you guys and share with the fans, and sometimes it's appropriate to keep in house. And I just think that this one's appropriate to keep in house.
How do you think they're handling being 5-0, being the only undefeated team, as far as the bullseye, the pressure, and all that?
I think they're handling it great, because when what do I think of when you handle it great is that you're preparing and practicing the same way when you're 5-0 as when you're 0-0 or 2-5 or whatever it is. And that's what I see. So, the preparation, I'm not with them at all times, but I know that when they come into these meetings, right, and I know when they go home and then come into these meetings, they have the same detail and same preparation and same knowledge of the game plan as they had going into Detroit, going into last year's Detroit, going into last year's Tampa Bay, whatever. So to me, that is a sign that they're handling it. They're handling it well.
When we were at practice yesterday.
Because we got great captains and we got great leaders and we got great guys on this team.
When we were at practice yesterday, Kelsey went into the medical tent. Did he ever return to practice?
Yeah, he was as you know, he was limited yesterday, and we're hopeful that he's ready to go. We'll get you that injury report later, and he, like I said, we're hopeful with him, and I think he's on the rise of being ready to go. But we'll take it the rest of the day today and figure it out.
Hey, Nick, where's Andre Dillard as far as his progression, and is he close to being ready? I know you don't like to put a timetable, but obviously with Micah Parsons, Marcus Lawrence, it's important with a banged-up offensive line to have everybody.
Sure. Yeah, he's close, and I think he's got a good chance to play this week. And so again, we got some time to think about it, but and to keep assessing it. And but he's had a good week of practice so far, and we're hopeful.
Are you confident Jordan's going to play?
You said one more. Again, everybody, we still got some time, and we still got to see today's practice, but we're hopeful all the guys that you guys have on the injury report from yesterday are going to be able to play.
All right. Cameras down.